Good morning, everyone. We are back at Knott's Berry Farm, and kind of a weird morning for us. It is the first visit back since Halloween where there is no spooky farm or scary farm going on, but there still are some decorations up, so we'll show you those. We saw a couple pumpkins. And also the biggest news, obviously, for our update today is the Cedar Fair merger with Six Flags. So we'll give you a little background on all we know on that here in just a few moments. We'll also check out the construction projects, and we know Xcelerator has been testing again this week, so will that be open today? I'm not sure, but on Halloween, Coast Rider was closed, so add that to the list of closed rides. So we're going to finish our breakfast burrito. The park isn't quite open yet, at about 10 minutes, and we'll update you on everything that we know. So we have Christmas lights and pumpkins. Knott's Berry Farm starts November 17th, and we see the Christmas lights and the fog machines actually went up during Scary Farm, and also during November, December, and January select days for both. They have the military tribute and the police and fire tribute, where members of both of those groups can get in for $19.99 along with up to 5 guests. So it is select days for both of those. The military tribute is November, December, police fire, end of December through January, so check the Knott's website for exact details and specific dates for that. I have never noticed this little campfire at the entrance to the stunt show back here. Never seen that before. We still have a few skeletons here under Silver Bullet. I'd be okay if they stayed. The music is super loud over here, so I'm going to yell, but the Camp Snoopy train has been closed weekdays as they are doing something under the lake over here. If you remember, this was water at one point, but most recently it was big giant rock that was down here where this dirt is, but it's all been crated and leveled off. So we don't know if this has something to do with the Camp Snoopy updates that are being made, because they have not made any announcement as of yet, but there is work going on here. And just know the Grand Sierra Scenic Railroad is closed Monday through Fridays currently for whatever it is they're doing over here. This display here for Scary Farm, which was actually an interactive spot for your lantern, has not been taken down yet, but it is behind work walls, and some of the Scary Farm decor is still up on the light posts here. So some change here. Woodstock's airmail was removed late summer, which we've told you about several times. I think it is being relocated, but no work had been done back there, and they also closed off the Camp Snoopy Theater for improvements. No word what's going on there, but this area was partially open during Scary Farm for a queue line for the chilling chambers, but now it is completely closed off. So the Camp Snoopy meet and greet also closed a few weeks ago. The characters are still available to meet throughout the park, but there are literally work walls this entire side of Camp Snoopy, from the Camp Snoopy store all the way down pretty much to Pigpen's mud buggies. Again, no word what's going on here. So what we know so far is that Woodstock's airmail has been removed. We're expecting it to be relocated. The Snoopy meet and greet and the Camp Snoopy Theater are being redone, but we expect them to come back. But again, we're not 100% sure, but from what I understood, they're just being redone. The Timberline Twister and the Camp Bus had been removed a while back to make way for a new attraction, which we believe is going to be a roller coaster. So those have been completely removed. There was supposed to be an announcement from Knott's on October 24th, which they told the Orange County Register of what was happening here, but nothing was released. And we have not even received a press release on Berry Farm yet, although we know it starts the 17th. So we know some of the shows and activities are coming from Berry Farm, but we have not gotten anything official. Jen wanted to point out that we do have this new bench here. We're not sure where this came from, but it is covered in dried ketchup, so I would recommend not sitting on it. Also still closed are the steps to the bridges to the cave, but you can enter the cave through the back if you want to come into the cave and see the back side of water. But that has been closed for a while now too. And with Scary Farm over, I thought that would reopen up, but that has not reopened. On this side of Camp Snoopy, the Mount Charlie Brown has remained, but the little play area here is gone, as you can see. But the Rapid River Run is still open, as are the airplanes, and then Linus's Pigpen's mud buggies are still open in the corner over there. Then everything on the other side of Camp Snoopy is still functioning as usual, as is the Ferris wheel. we will start our Fiesta Village update here on the backside of Montezuma. As you know, if you've been coming to the park, this has been sitting like this for quite some time. We have no update on it. There are a lot of rumors online about the future of this roller coaster, none of which have been confirmed, so we're not going to repeat them, but this is the current status. And for some unknown reason, La Revolucion has been down for months now without any kind of announcement. I don't know what's going on with it, but I believe everything else here in Fiesta Village is open with the exception of Montezuma and La Revolucion. Christmas decorations are up partially in the boardwalk, or going up at least, and they are testing Ghost Rider currently. Xcelerator. So as we just saw, Xcelerator is testing. We saw a successful launch, went over the hill, but then we went on Sky Cabin and the launch did not happen. So they're still working on that. So no word when it'll open. Still seems like they're having a little bit of technical difficulties. And the worst thing about Scary Farm being over is no more French onion burger at Coaster. Thing was so good. But we're still waiting on that Mary Farm menu. So hopefully something good will be coming. I noticed they put the Christmas lights and the trees up on top of the buildings here in the boardwalk. Let's go check that out. Jen's like, I just heard it launch. I'm like, no, that was Supreme Scream. She's like, what about that? I'm like, that's the hand dryer in the bathroom. Jen, learn your noises, Jen. Oh, that noise was the burrito earlier. In case you were worried, now that Halloween is over, this game is back. I'll leave it right there. Coast Rider is currently down for maintenance, but it looks like part of the queue line is missing. You can see the rails are gone and the concrete is all torn up there. So this may be a little bit longer than we think. I believe it's supposed to be like a 2-week maintenance, but that looks like it's going to be longer than that, especially since it was already closed on Halloween. Some of the Christmas decor is starting to come up here in the boardwalk. There's usually trees in the water, so that does not look like they've gotten those in yet, but the wreaths are up. Oh, I see the fountain, all the Halloween stuff is gone. Let's walk over there. Jen?
Yes.
I'm out of touch.
Yeah,
You're out of touch. I'm out of something. They forgot a pumpkin and some corn stalks, but we're okay with it. I think they should leave it at least through Thanksgiving. As of today, Sunday, there's still Scary Farm merch in Cordy's. And again, we're okay with that. Good morning. Hey, Lucy. We haven't talked much yet about that Six Flags merger, but what I can say is there has been a noticeable decrease in spending on entertainment here at Knott's. And I think one thing that Knott's does fantastic is their entertainment and food. That's kind of what you come to Knott's for. I know they have a ton of rides, but it's really the food and the entertainment that you come to Knott's for, what they're known for. And they started cutting earlier this year, but it's been a little bit longer than that. The Mystery Lodge, I think, has been closed since 2019. They cut Cameo Kate and the Saloon Show earlier this year. There has not been a stunt show since the park reopened after the pandemic. Right now, the Camp Snoopy Theater is closed. What else? The Native American dancer, Gary, has been missing. There are no roaming ghost town characters anymore, so we'd love to see all that come back. Hopefully with this merger of companies, they're able to save some money on the top and corporate level and reinvest in what people come to Knott's for, is the entertainment. I know during Christmas, nothing has been announced. We know Home for the Holidays is coming back. We'll walk over to the stage. They've sort of announced that the ice show is coming back. We have a few people that we know, I think, that have actually auditioned for the Carolers. But other than that, we're not quite sure. So we want to see that entertainment come back, Knott's, if you're listening. Well, not Knott's, Cedar Fair. I know Knott's doesn't want to cut the entertainment. There are some remnants of Origins here in the Wilderness Dance Hall, but this will be Santa's Christmas cabin in less than 2 weeks. Actually, only like 12 days, 13 days. It's amazing how quickly they get all this up and down. Halloween was Tuesday, and if you did not see our video from Halloween, It was more of a personal video than it was an update, as we know a lot of Scary Farm monsters here. And I think there were almost 20 that are retiring that waited to the 50th. And they did several ceremonies around the park where if you watch the video, it may not make sense to you, but it did to us. They all marched down Main Street, all the Ghost Town monsters that were retiring, did a little ceremony in front of the bird cage where each retiring monster was kind of sent off by the angel. And then later in the evening, they came over here to the cemetery, and the sheriff of Ghost Town during Scary Farm is retiring, and they appointed a new sheriff. So we were actually the only ones over here, I think YouTube-wise, covering that. So make sure you check out that video from Tuesday from Halloween. It says Halloween Update. If you love Scary Farm and love the monsters, you definitely have to see that. They got this struck down fast. This was the stage for Spooky Farm during the day with Crazy Kirk, and at night it was Carnival du Grotesque. And now it will be Home for the Holidays, which is a fantastic show. This whole house opens up. They're building on the stage. You definitely got to check it out. So this will be running during Merry Farm, starting on the 17th. As we were talking about the entertainment, what makes Knott's really special is it's Ghost Town. And as we're walking through now, the town hall is not open. The Mystery Lodge is not open. Was the toy shop open? I don't have to go back and look. The bank was not open. All that stuff used to be open on a daily basis. So we want to see that come back. If you're listening there at Cedar Fair and Six Flags, we want that. Salim, listen. So let's go over quickly what we know about the merger. And this is all we know so far because nothing has really been released other than the press release. And normally we're pretty up on all the gossip, and I had not heard a peep about any of this from anyone. So it may have come as a surprise to most people here as well. So Cedar Fair and Six Flags are merging as equals, meaning the stock prices and the company size and revenue were about the same. I think Cedar Fair had a little bit higher revenue with less parks, so they were in a little bit better shape than Six Flags was. But they are merging into one company. The actual company name is changing on the back end, but for marketing purposes, Cedar Fair is dropping the Cedar Fair name and we'll be going with Six Flags, probably a little bit more recognizable. The parks, Cedar Fair parks, are not branded to Cedar Fair Park, so I think that's probably why they're keeping the Six Flags name. On the stock exchange, they're keeping Fun, which is the ticker for Cedar Fair. In terms of management, the current Six Flags CEO, Salim Basul, will be assuming the position of executive director of the board, whatever. He'll be head of the board of directors, which will be made up of 12 members, 6 from Cedar Fair, 6 from Six Flags, so it'll be equal. And then the current CEO and CFO of Cedar Fair will be assuming day-to-day operations. So the majority of the operations will still be under Cedar Fair, not Six Flags, with Cedar Fair stockholders maintaining a slight majority of the company. Now, in terms of headquarters, there was no mention made at all of the Arlington, Texas headquarters for Six Flags. All they said was that finance and some of those operations will be staying in Sandusky up at Cedar Point. And then the majority of the corporate positions will be in Charlotte, which is the current Cedar Fair headquarters. So it looks like Cedar Fair will have a majority stake in not only the company, but the day-to-day operations. Now, what that means from day-to-day operations, I have no idea. Are we going to see Six Flags trash cans here in Knott? Who knows? Are we going to see DC comic merchandise in the stores? I don't know. Probably not. My guess is, since there's very few markets where both of those companies have overlapping parks, Southern and Northern California being, I think, maybe only 2. I think in Ohio they have parks that are pretty close to each other. My guess would be is that Knott's will maintain being the family entertainment food theme park, which I think they do really well, and Six Flags Magic Mountain will stay the thrill park. And I know when Cedar Fair took over Knott's, they were really big on thrills to compete with Magic Mountain. And I think they really found their niche here with the food festivals, the family events, the family coasters, the dark rides. And I think they need to stick with that. So we're going to go to the grill, and I'll give you some other thoughts a little bit later, but that's what we know so far. Hopefully, did that make sense, Jen? The frame for the Christmas tree is up. This should be here. Look how deep the hole is down there. Very cool. Just a few days before we see the Christmas tree. Some final thoughts here on the merger of Six Flags and Cedar Fair. Now, I could say I go to all the parks all the time. I've got a Six Flags Diamond Elite Pass. I've got the Cedar Fair, Knott's Berry Farm. What is it, Prestige now? I've got Disneyland. We've got SeaWorld, Legoland. What other? Oh, Universal. Every local attraction I have a pass for, so I go to all of them frequently. And there are things that I really like about Magic Mountain. I like their app. I like that you can mobile order. They have some amazing roller coasters. But the park that we always come back to, even more so than Disneyland or Universal, is Knott. And Knott is because of that uniqueness. When you walk in here, there is nothing real corporate feeling about Knott. Each area, even down to the trash cans, each trash can in each area is themed to the land that it's in. We just walked past the popcorn cart, and there was an associate in there wearing kind of an old Western outfit and a little bonnet on her head. And I'm like, that's what makes Knott's Knott's, that uniqueness. And Cedar Fair has always allowed Knott's to have that unique creativity, and I hope that's what stays. I do not want to see every associate here at Knott's wearing the exact same t-shirt without any sort of theming. I don't want to see corporate branding on the trash cans. I like all of Knott's merchandise because it's all themed to the park. When you go to Six Flags or even to the Universal or Disney parks, it's all corporate branded merchandise. Even Disneyland's very corporate when you walk in. There's no individual feeling to it anymore. So hopefully the parks stay exactly the way they are. There's a lot to like about Magic Mountain. I think Bugs Bunny World's kind of fun. I know the events they put on are really good. They've really made strides in the past year with their Scream Break, their food festivals. The Flavors of the World was amazing, that food festival. I went with Janice to that like 5 or 6 times, I think. Holiday in the Park is fun. Their Fright Fest, while not Scary Farm, is a good event. So hopefully they keep the park separate. I see them leaving Looney Tunes and DC at Magic Mountain, and Snoopy and the Western Field here at Knott's. I hope they keep them separate, and all for the Cedar Fair parks too. And I'd actually like to see them remove some of the Six Flags branding out of the Six Flags parks and really focus on what's unique at Magic Mountain. Like when I go to Magic Mountain, I want a hat that says Magic Mountain, and I want a shirt that has Twisted Colossus. That's what. Jen's laughing at me. This means I was up all week over this. I lost sleep. I was in the hospital earlier last month. This is going to send me right back to the hospital again. You people are sending me right back to the hospital over this. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully everybody agrees. And, I think there's a few things like the Flash Pass system I think is a little bit better at Six Flags. The mobile ordering is really good at Six Flags. I'd like to see that come in here, but leave Knott's the way it is. Leave Six Flags unique at Magic Mountain. Let them kind of go to their heritage and history. There's a lot of history at Magic Mountain too. So that's my take. Was that good? If you're still listening at this point after 3 minutes and 44 seconds, even Jen isn't listening at this point anymore. Alrighty. That about does it here from Knott's Berry Farm for our this is probably the largest update we've had in a while. We will be back next weekend to see if anything has changed. Something we didn't mention when we walked in, if you buy the Prestige Pass, which is the new pass that is available, it is a higher level pass, gets you parking in the preferred lot when available. Also gets you access to the new VIP lounge, which we have no idea where that's going to be yet. What other perks? Your own dedicated entry, and that was actually open this morning. So it was the very far gate this morning for the first 2 hours of the day. You do not get in early, but for the first 2 hours of the day, you have a separate line similar to what Magic Mountain does with their Diamond and Diamond Elite members. Although Magic Mountain has a red carpet and velvet ropes. I want velvet ropes and a red carpet. But we were able to use that this morning and get right in. There was like 5 people in line. So that is open. We did ask if that's going to be every day now. We were told yes, but who knows? That could change. But as of today, that Prestige only entrance, which is at the main entrance, very far gate, was open. So that was cool. If you liked the video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button with the notification bell turned on, and follow us on social media. And if we happen to miss something in the park today, put it down in the comments. We'll see you next week. Bye.